Well, I've been on an Ocarina of Time kick recently. It's a great game to go back to if you crave that original Zelda formula after two huge open world Zelda games with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And also, today it is the 25th anniversary of Ocarina of Time releasing in Japan, so happy anniversary to Ocarina of Time fans. Well, you might be surprised to hear there are plenty of Ocarina of Time references to be found within Tears of the Kingdom. You just have to go looking under the surface for them. Well, today I want to highlight these references to Ocarina of Time so you can also seek them out and enjoy them for yourself. Without further delay, let's dive into the Ocarina of Time references found in Tears of the Kingdom. Well, first of all, we've got plenty of recognisable place names. So Hyrule in Tears of the Kingdom is full of names that reference characters found in Ocarina of Time. We've got Bonoru's Stand and Pierre's Plateau. They're places near Kakariko Village and they are named after the scarecrows found in Ocarina of Time. In the Korok Forest, you've got the Meadow Swamp and Lake Saria, named after two of the children of the forest from Ocarina of Time. Meadow would always challenge Link, he'd get in your way. And Saria, well, she was our childhood friend. She would go on to teach us Saria's song and then become the Sage of the Forest. Well, next up, we've got Link's whistling. So Link gathers together some ingredients for a meal, he chucks them into a pan, and he whistles a little tune. So each time Link does this, he's going to whistle a different song, and he cycles between a few classic Zelda tunes, including the Song of Storms and also Epona's song. It is a subtle Easter egg, but definitely one that helps the game feel much, much richer. Well, next up we got Lonlon Milk. So if you get some milk in Tears of the Kingdom, then you're going to want to take a closer look at the bottle. The logo is very similar to that one found in Ocarina of Time from the world-famous Lonlon Ranch. So in Ocarina of Time, we can play a mini-game to help us get a new bottle, and we get some Lonlon Milk to go with that bottle. This milk is very, very valuable in Ocarina of Time because it helps heal Link. I think it's up to 5 hearts or something like that it gives you back. But unfortunately, milk doesn't have that restorative power in Tears of the Kingdom, but it can be added to other ingredients to create hearty meals and other snacks for Link to help regenerate some health. Well, next up, I want to talk about Raru. So if you've played Ocarina of Time before Tears of the Kingdom, then you're going to likely recognise Raru's name, although they have very different appearances between those two games. So Raru in Ocarina of Time is the Sage of Light. Raru in Tears of the Kingdom, on the other hand, is the first king of Hyrule and one of the last of the Zonai people. And while Raru played a relatively minor role in Ocarina of Time, he plays a much larger role in Tears of the Kingdom, acting as Link's guide on the Great Sky Island. We learn much about him through the cutscenes as Zelda was transported back in time. Plus we've got his relationship with Sonia and also the battle against Ganondorf during the Imprisoning War. Well, Ocarina of Time wasn't actually the first time that the name Raru was mentioned. Raru is also used in Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. However, here it's only a town name. But in Tears of the Kingdom, the mystery deepens given the medallion worn by King Raru appears to have the face of the Ocarina of Time Raru on one side, and then you've got his owl form, Kapora Gabora, on the other side. So that's a really, really nice callback, that one, and one of my favourites in Tears of the Kingdom, calling back to Ocarina of Time. Well, next up, we've got Ganondorf's pose. So during the final battle in Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf strikes a very, very distinctive pose. He feels like everything is lost. He tries to bring down the castle on Link and Zelda, and at that very moment when he's desperate, he'd rather kill them all than let them go free. So Ganondorf stretches out his arms and raises them into the sky. It's all pretty terrifying and also, crucially, very, very memorable. Ganondorf does the same pose in Tears of the Kingdom when he's getting ready to battle Link in the final fight. And at first, Link meets mummified Ganondorf only for him to regenerate himself into the Demon King Ganondorf, ready to take Link one-on-one. So Ganondorf strikes that same terrifying pose as he transforms from the mummified version of Ganondorf into the battle-ready Demon King Ganondorf, and then the fight begins. Next up, we got Zelda's startling turn. So Zelda has a habit of turning for the camera and looking pretty stunned. You know, we've got similar scenes in Ocarina of Time and also in Tears of the Kingdom. In Ocarina of Time, when we first meet child Princess Zelda, she turns and she's startled at his ability to get past the royal guards. Well, in Tears of the Kingdom, Link and Zelda travel down into the depths to find a mummified Ganondorf. Once again, Zelda turns and she's looking startled, staring directly into the camera, much like she did as that child princess in Ocarina of Time. Well, next up, we've got underground royal secrets. So, right at the start of Tears of the Kingdom, Link and Zelda are found exploring the underground, searching for the source of the mysterious black and red substance known as gloom that is slowly poisoning Hyrule. Now, something similar happens in Ocarina of Time under the well and also the Shadow Temple, which also holds secrets about the royal family. So King Raru sealed Ganondorf underground in Tears of the Kingdom, and in Ocarina of Time we've also got royal secrets underground. So once again, in both instances, the secrets get out and they cause havoc all across Hyrule. Next up, we've got one of my favourite callbacks, and that is the Armour of Time. So this is probably the most direct link to Ocarina of Time, and that is Link's armour set, the Armour of Time. So we've got the iconic green tunic, the hat, the trousers. They all allow Link to take on the look of the adult version of Link from Ocarina. So if you want to travel around Hyrule in Tears of the Kingdom looking like the hero of time, well, it is entirely possible. The armour pieces can be found all around the various places in the depths. I do have a full guide on the channel with a walkthrough for each piece, so I would recommend checking out that guide if you want to take a trip down memory lane with the Armour of Time. Well, finally, we've got my favourite callback to Ocarina of Time, and this is Ganondorf swearing his allegiance to the king. So there's this great cutscene in Tears of the Kingdom with Ganondorf swearing fealty to King Raru. You know, while Ganondorf goes on one knee, he says he's going to follow the king, but his tone and his look is somewhat suspect, with Zelda pointing out this very fact when Ganondorf leaves the room. You know, this scene is very similar to a scene from Ocarina of Time, with Link looking through a window in Hyrule Castle, and he spots Ganondorf bowing to the king, and Zelda stating she doesn't trust this man with the evil eyes. So Ganondorf would turn on his king in both instances as predicted. You know, Ganondorf has a habit of not only overpowering his foes in battle, but also trying to outwit them as well. Well, let me know in the comments what you think about the callbacks from Tears of the Kingdom to Ocarina of Time. You know, Ocarina of Time is one of my favourite games of all time. I've been playing through it recently and it's really, really good fun. I definitely recommend going back to the game if you haven't played it in a while and you've been through Breath of the Wild, you've been through Tears of the Kingdom, and you want something a little different from the open world Zelda formula. I would recommend going back to Ocarina of Time and playing through on Nintendo Switch Online. I reckon it is a whole load of fun and the game still holds up today. Well, that is it today for all of the Ocarina of Time references in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. As always, thank you so much for watching or for listening. Well, don't forget to subscribe and I will see you real soon.